Hi, in this video we are going to see the properties of integers. So first one is a closure property. So the closure property is when you add or when you subtract or when you multiply two numbers, that answer should be the integer. Okay, that is the closure property of the integer. So here what is the thing is the integer is closed under addition, multiplication and then subtraction also. First, we are going to see this through the example. We are going to add two integers. So one is a -2 and another one is a -3. Both are integers. So when you add both of these integers, you get -5, which is also an integer. Next one, when you subtract two integers, that is -5, and there is another one integer which is a positive integer, that is +3, and this is subtraction. When you subtract these two integers, you get -8, which is also an integer. Coming to this one, when you multiply the two integers, -2 and then +4, which gives -8, so which is also an integer. Now coming to the division, there is a variation. So if you divide two integers, so one is -2 and another one is -4, when you are dividing and when you cancel, you get 1/2, which is 0.5, and which is not an integer. It's not an integer. Closure property is not applicable in division. So the next property. So commutative property is when you add two numbers in one order or it's in the vice versa, the answer will be the same. Here we are taking that a plus b is equal to b plus a. So in the place of a and b, we are replacing with numbers. So -2 and +3. So -2, which is an integer, and +3. And then the vice versa of this one, that is 3 plus of -2. So when you take the left hand side, that is LHS, and you are solving, you are getting 1. And when you take the RHS and then you are solving and you are getting 1. So both LHS as well as the RHS, both are equal. So from this we can understand that commutative property is true in addition the integers. So next one is for the multiplication. So here a cross b and that is equal and b cross a. So when you calculate the LHS and RHS, you have to get the same. The same thing like the addition, but here the operation will change, that is multiplication. So LHS when you solve, you get the -12, and RHS when you solve, you get the same -12. So both are same. So we come to the conclusion that the commutative property is true for the multiplication of integers. Then the next one is associative property. So the associative property, what is the property is a plus b and then a bracket for a plus b. So this one, and then plus c, and then you are replacing the brackets, like changing the bracket for the last two digits. So this is the associative property. Here we are associating the numbers. So the property name is associative property. Using the numbers, we are doing an example. So 2 plus -3, which is the bracket, plus 4 is equal to 2 plus of the bracket of -3 plus 4. So we are going to find whether this one is true or not. So first we are taking the LHS. So the left hand side is 2 plus of -3 plus 4. When you add two the numbers, that is 2 and -3, which gives -1 plus the 4. So -1 plus 4, which gives the 3. This is for the LHS. And then coming for the RHS. So here we are do the calculation for the bracket 1. So that is -3 and plus 4. So which gives 1, and then you are adding these two numbers and you are getting 3. So here also 3 and here also 3. So both LHS as well as the RHS are equal. So we come to the conclusion that associative property is true for the addition of integers. So next one is an associative property for the multiplication. So here A cross B and bracket cross C is equal to A cross B cross C for the last two numbers we are putting in the bracket. So here we are taking the example, that is 2 cross minus 4 multiplied by 6 is equal to that, just changing the bracket, and we are writing, we are going to find whether this one is true or not. So first, when you multiply minus 4 and 2, you get the minus 8, and then multiplying by 6, so you get minus 48. And here you are multiplying the minus 4 and then 6. When you multiply these two, you are getting minus 24, and with minus 24 you are multiplying the 2 and you are getting the minus 48. So here also minus 48, and in LHS also it's minus 48. So finally we come to the conclusion that associative property is true for the multiplication of integers. And moreover, that associative property is not true for the subtraction as well as the division. Not only for the associative property, the commutative property is also not true for subtraction as well as the division. Next one is an identity. 0 is an additive identity. So what is the thing is, when you add with 0 with any numbers, it will give the same number. So in example, we are taking 5, that is 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. Next one is the multiplicative identity. The multiplicative identity is 1. So 1 is the multiplicative identity. So A cross 1 and 1 cross A, when you do this one, you get the A only. So I'm taking the 4. So 4 cross, whatever the numbers you take, maybe minus 4 or positive integer, negative integer, whatever it may be, it will give the same number. So that is the multiplicative identity. So there is no identity for subtraction as well as the division. There is no identity for the subtraction as well as the division. Only we have the additive identity and multiplicative identity.